Hello everyone and happy holidays. I have a new type of video for you today. In this video, I take another risk, but unlike in the last video with the mini excavator, this one didn't quite go so good. It wasn't horrible, but it could have been a lot better. So to start off with, we'll have to go back about 4 months to August 17th when I officially owned the car and I was required to go and pick it up. The car was listed for $800, and since National Title Pawn is classified as a dealer, tax tag and title fees brought the net total to $874. I brought a good battery with me, hoping again that it was something simple and I would just drive it home, but things went a little different than planned. But yeah, I just want to make sure it runs first because I still don't know. If it does, then I check it over and it's good to drive.
As far as I know, it didn't run, is what she said.
Yeah, because otherwise I'll have to come back with a truck and trailer.
Okay.
So. Yeah, I hope it don't have like a broke time belt or anything. One of these is messed up. Alright, well, looks like we gotta tow it. I'll try it again, but I don't think it's gonna start. Trying to get the car, just putting a battery in it and seeing if it'll start up and drive home was a bust. So got truck and trailer now, and we're headed back out to go pick it up. Let's see if we can push it closer first. All right, so we just made it back. I kind of went ahead and started unstrapping everything, but I wanted to do a quick test just to see the extent of the damage, whether I need to go ahead and start looking for an engine or not. I'm going to do a compression check on it. It sounds like it's turning over really slow, which could either be a bad starter or what I think is it probably jumped time and broke a valve or some valve train related issue and it mushroomed the pistons. Because the oil looks good, the coolant's full, the transmission fluid looks good. I don't think the car was abused. I think it just happened all of a sudden, whatever it is. But I'm going to see if I can figure it out real quick. Another thing I wanted to mention is, you might have noticed in the video, when it's cranking over, there's one cylinder that is firing. I don't know which one it is, but it's obviously not enough to run the car. But probably have at least one good cylinder here. Here's my improvised magnet retrieval tool. Hopefully I don't lose it. Like, see, these look normal, like they don't look that bad. They're obviously really worn. A little bit of fuel on them because they're not firing, or the cylinder's not firing. But they look pretty average. I think they're platinums. And that's probably the one that's running. All right, so we got a new battery in there. Let's see if that makes a good difference. Zero. So definitely something I think valve train related. I think the next thing I'm going to do is I have a bore scope. I'm going to get that hooked up and put a camera down in there and see what we can find. Like I said, it's still full of coolant, so I don't think it was overheat related unless they topped it back up after it overheated. But I'm thinking it's timing belt related. I'm gonna see if I can get the top timing cover off first and just look at the condition of the belt. If the belt's really old or cracked and falling apart, then that's definitely what happened. It looks pretty easy. That's the only reason I'm doing it.
It's that easy.
So unfortunately, this belt looks pretty good. You know, usually up around like 40,000 miles, the lettering on it starts to wear off. So this thing is not that old. If I had a good camera, I would put it down in the cylinders and look at the valves, but I don't have one that can look up once it's down in there. I looked at the tops of the pistons and they don't look damaged, like something was embedded in them, which would explain that like swelling that I was talking about. I have seen that before. So I think the next thing I need to do is make sure the cam timing is right, because I still don't know why it's not cranking as fast as it should, or why it's cranking slow. But I know we're missing compression on 1, 2, and 4, and it's low on 3. So if the belt slipped or something happened along those lines, or something is messed up with the timing belt, then that could cause that. So I think I'll go there next. Alright, so it's been a long minute with this car. It's been about 3 months now, and I was on the fence about whether or not I wanted to just sell it, but you know, a lot of people won't buy a car with a blown motor, especially for what I paid for this. But I've managed to find a used engine from somebody that I know, and he's willing to sell it to me for $500. That was the main reason I wanted to sell this car, is because rebuilding it would be at least $700, and most used engines go for $700 plus. So, you know, it is what it is. You know, that's the cheapest that I could find, and especially without going hours and hours out of my way. Another really big thing too is that I could have gone to some pick your parts or pull apart yards to get an engine myself, and it would probably be about $400. But this one that I'm getting for $500 it's already removed, ready to go, and some of the accessories and brackets are included. So not that I'll need them, but you know, that's an extra bonus as well. I'm gonna just time lapse the engine replacement. I think I should have it done in about 6 hours or so. I'm gonna leave the transmission in place. So let's give it a shot. And just to give y'all a quick look at the car in its current state, you can see it's full of pine needles. But yeah, I think it'll go good. I think it'd be pretty easy. There was just enough space with the manifold left and the intake on it. I didn't mess with any of those. I just disconnected them. But there's just enough space, so I'm really glad it worked out this way. And also forgot to mention, total time since I started was 1 hour and 45 minutes. I know going together is going to be a little bit slower than that. Plus, you know, I got to swap parts over, I got to get gaskets, and I got to fill fluids. But I think in total, I think the 6 hour estimate is pretty good. So let's keep moving. Alright, so I got it together enough to run. I want to make sure it runs good before I fully commit to all the rest of the work. So let's see how it goes. Alright, take 2, with this time with the brake booster hose connected. Alright, that's pretty successful for first start. I have a check engine light, I don't know why yet, but I'm going to finish putting everything back together and go from there. Alright, I think I got everything pretty much finished up except coolant. So now I'm going to start it up. I'm going to finish adding the coolant because I I've got some air trapped and it's giving me some trouble. Alright, so we got it up to temperature and it seems to be pretty stable. Thermostat's open, the upper hose is very hot. So I'm going to pull it out, go around the driveway really quick. I still don't have an insurance or a tag for this car, and it's also nighttime. But I want to just take it for a quick spin and maybe assess what else it needs. Alright, so all that steam is some of the coolant that I spilled while filling it. For today, I think that's enough. I'll pick back up in the morning or sometime tomorrow and we'll take this out on the road and see how it does. Alright, so it's the next morning. I've already moved the car up by my house because I needed to clean the windshield up so I could see. And I've got the pine needles off the car. So also have tag and insurance as well. I should definitely mention that. But we're gonna take it out on the road and see how it does and see what else is broken on it. A bit of roaring. I think it might be a wheel bearing. It sounds like at the rear. I'm gonna take off from this. Like a deep whining noise, kind of like a semi driving down the road. That's about what it sounds like. I definitely hear it in the rear though. Let's try cruise control too. Okay, cruise works, and all the power mirrors I did check already. They're all good. The windows also all work. I haven't checked all the modes on the HVAC yet, but so far the panel setting works. I guess I can check that too already. Feel it in the floor. No longer feel it on the panel. And I no longer feel it on the floor, so I think all the modes are also good. Alright, so we're on the highway, not the interstate, but a state highway. Currently doing 40, so let's accelerate up to about 60, maybe 65. Now there is a special note about the speed. I noticed when I got the car that the tires looked a little bigger than what you should have. So I checked with the door card, and the car actually has oversized tires on it. So the speedometer's likely a little bit off. I don't know how much, but I'd say 60 is probably more like 63 or 64 miles an hour. There seems to be an ever so slight shimmy, like maybe an out of balance tire. And the roaring noise is obviously a lot louder. But overall, the car feels really good. It feels... My girlfriend Taylor has an 05 Civic, and it feels just like hers, so... So let's do 0 to 60 here. Not floored though. That was third gear. I think a wheel. Oh, another thing I noticed when I was slowing down back there is a pretty strong brake pulsation, so I'll probably have some warped front rotors would be my guess, but I can get those resurfaced for relatively cheap, around $25. But besides that, you know, everything seems good. Just a couple more small issues to take care of, and I think this car will be 100%. Alright, so I've been driving the car around for about a day or so. I drove it to work and back today, and I'm pretty sure, like I said earlier, that the wheel bearing is bad. So I'm going to jack the car up and spin the wheels and see if I can figure out which one it is, or hopefully I can figure out which one it is. Alright, so I spun the wheels, I listened really closely. I didn't really hear anything at all. And as bad as the noise sounds inside the car, I think I should definitely hear something outside the car. There's a little bit of whirring from this side, but that could be brake shoes, because it does have drum brakes in the back. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to jack the front of the car up and then put it in gear, run it up to speed, and see if I can hear anything that way. I'm gonna get it up to 70, put it in neutral, and then cut the car off so you can really hear it. Alright, so I actually think the noise is in the transmission, and I kind of was weary of that at first, because anytime you're crawling along really slow, you can hear like gears running together, or like a growling something, and it sounds like a manual with like a bad input shaft bearing. That's what it sounds like. That's the only way I can describe it. But I've jacked the front up, run it up to speed. It's much louder, so it's definitely in the front. And then I blocked one wheel, ran one side, blocked the other wheel, ran the other side, and the noise is essentially the same. So I'm thinking it's definitely in the transmission. And I've got one side blocked right now, the car in neutral, and I'm gonna spin the wheel by hand. So you're gonna have to listen closely to hear it, but you can definitely hear the remnants of the overall noise that I'm hearing. It's like a rumbling. Yeah, so that's not good news, but the transmission seems perfectly fine besides that. It shifts good, and it's got plenty of power. It's not slipping. The fluid is really clean in it, like I said. But this is kind of just blindsided me a little bit. I think the best thing I can do right now is just ignore the issue. And you know, it is a Honda, so it'll probably run forever, but you know, who really knows. but we'll see. Alright, so I actually went back and rewatched the footage on the camera, and you can definitely hear it way better on the camera through the microphone than you can in person, but it's still like unmistakably there. There's definitely a noise. And I guess I have a good reference to compare this to, because like I said, my girlfriend has the same car, same engine, same transmission, and hers is silent. It does not make any noises like this. And hers is a higher mileage, and it's a base model, so you would expect it to have a little more quirks, but yeah, this isn't something, I just put an engine in this, and I'm not going to try to find a transmission as long as this one's working, because the demographic that's going to buy a car like this, it's a Honda Civic at the end of the day, a 2002 with 225,000 miles, so it's not going to be perfect, but it is a good running and driving car. So the people that are going to be buying this, they're not going to expect much. They just want something that gets them from A to B, that's comfortable, heat, air conditioning, power windows. You can't really want much more from a car of this price range. So with the Civic, in total, I paid $874 for the car, $500 for the engine, about $100 for gaskets, fluids, filters, and things like that. $50 for 2 new front brake rotors, bringing my total to $1,524. I do have 6¼ hours in replacing the engine, about an hour in replacing the front brake rotors, and about 3 hours in cleaning the car, bringing my total to 10¼ hours. I don't count labor in my case since it's my car and I plan to keep it for myself, but it is an important element to consider. For a car worth around $2,000 to $2,500, it's not great, but I didn't lose much here. I'll get my value out of it by enjoying the creature comforts that it does have, such as an automatic transmission, power windows, power locks, power mirrors, and cruise control, most importantly. These are all things that my old car, a 95 Geo Metro, didn't have. And this is the second car that I've bought from National Title Pawn, and I plan to be driving this about 7,000 miles over the next 4 months. So unless my eye catches something between now and then, I'll update you in May on how this turns out. If you think I did good, like the video. If you think I did bad, leave a comment with some recommendations or suggestions, and subscribe if you want to see more like this. So until next time, happy holidays.